Hello and welcome to this edition of TMA's Farm Margin Talk. This is Devin Schierling, Grain Marketing Manager for TMA. So as we close out this Friday afternoon, I had a wonderful surprise with my wife, oldest son Carson, and youngest daughter Kella, surprised me here in the office all wearing their K-State purple. So hopefully come Saturday evening, we have that same wonderful victory surprise that we did this past weekend. So as we move on to our farm margin index for October the 28th, 2011, you'll notice that once again we have profitability throughout the entire process, with corn leading the way on irrigated with $347 of profit potential. But wheat took the biggest jump for the week, with dryland wheat profitability going up to $51 an acre and irrigated up to $65. So just a detailed version of how we came up with this information in price per bushel, and you can see all the individual input costs and where we came up with those numbers. And then once again, I'm going to show the same slide that I did, but updated from our last margin talk, that showed the crop nutrient expenses as well as the other expenses as a bushel total. So these numbers were all updated for the weekly changes, and you can see that the total number of bushels it takes of expenses for your corn crop is 127 bushels, and we have an average APH of 185 bushels. So if you take that 185 times 80%, which is your crop insurance, that gives you 148 guaranteed bushels to sell by federal crop insurance. So what that means is you have 21 bushels to sell that you are protected on crop insurance, and you have 58 bushels an acre that you can sell to get up to your APH. So there's plenty of profit available, and that way you can help manage your own farm's profitability. And this is when you look at all four of our major commodities, what those available bushels to sell look like. And some have bushels to sell that are above the insurance guarantee and some are below, but they all have positive bushels to sell, which equals to profitability. So as we look at wheat, everyone right now is questioning what should we do with our wheat. Our wheat looks great here in central Kansas. Not a lot of subsoil moisture, but we got a good stand, and there's more acres than normal planted. And so this chart shows each of the last 4 crop years. So where the red question mark is October the 28th, and you can see that we are trending on the path that looks awful similar to 2008 and 2011. But what happens if we follow down by 2009 standards and stay relatively flat and in very modest profits for the rest of this growing year? So what we need to do is make sure we have a plan in place to protect where we're at today, over $50 an acre of potential revenue, and leave ourselves with upside to capture any moves going forward. Once again, updating on our harvest price calculations. Through Friday, or 95% through our averaging period, we have corn's harvest price trading at $6.31 and soybeans at $12.14. So you can see the base price on the left-hand side at $6.01 versus $6.31 on corn. So what that means is there's a 30-cent increase for those of you who've already received your claims check based upon the base price. So 30 cents a bushel times an 80% policy. If you had a different policy, just plug that number in right there, times your APH, I'm using 90 in this example, would equal $21.06 of additional revenue that you will be receiving once the base price has been settled. So points of interest, there's been a lot of conversation locally about different delivery values within our system. The difference between our local elevators and terminals on beans is tighter than what it's ever been. And the reason for that is the primary markets today are the end users in these markets, whether that be the bean plant, whether that be the different feed yards or users of corn, and we're not as much in an export-driven market. So when you take the advantage of a rail loader out of the situation, and in turn, all elevators are on a more equal footing, and that's why that difference in price between one elevator versus the other is remarkably narrower than what it normally is. And so that's why that spread is so close. And remember the true value of delivering that grain locally. By going local, you have less freight cost. You have the ability to participate in patronage when your local cooperative makes money. And it just takes less dollars and cents, and you get to see the loving smiles of your local elevator people there helping you through all your situations. So with that being said, if you have any more questions, please feel free to contact one of our TMA grain marketing or crop insurance specialists. And thank you and have a wonderful weekend.